And I'm still not able to believe today I'm doing a podcast and his name is Mr. Bithal Bhardwaj. Can you just tell me about your journey? How do you started your cybersecurity and all that?
I began my journey as an IT person. Right? I've spent close to around 7-8 years as an infrastructure person. My primary focus was performance engineering, which fundamentally means you make sure that the availability and the performance of your infrastructure and applications is up to the SLA.
So when it comes to the national security, the most important part in national security is Aero security. When it's got flights, maritimes, ships and all that. So as a CISO, how we can able to build a good cyber resilient system around this area?
Resilience is all about making sure you're able to catch the trouble early on time. You're able to contain that locally. You're able to continue your critical applications or systems.
When I say critical, what do you mean by critical?
Something which will have, which can impact the national security,
Okay.
public safety, public order. So there are few parameters. It varies from a country to country, but in India it's mainly about the security, public safety and those parameters.
How this operate and how the role of security, role of IT comes into this picture.
Now let's look at the technologies which are laid out there. You have a runway lighting system. Okay. You have the perimeter intrusion detection system.
Wow.
You have the CCTVs. You have the baggage handling system. You have the ground radar system. You have the visual docking guidance system for aircraft to park themselves. You have the ATC tower. You have a fueling station there. There are at least 8-10 different technology which is all full of operational technologies and IoT sensors and IT as well.
Okay.
Right where what we call as airside.
So what happened now?
Yeah, so what Saurabh has done, he has plugged in that small USB drive onto the system. And now the software on that, a malicious software on that, is doing a recon of this environment. It's on the flat network right now.
What is recon?
So what that software actually did, it did the recon, it figured out what port is vulnerable. Okay, and then it deployed the right code for that so that it can manipulate that.
Hey guys, welcome to the session on Coffee with Prabh. And today we have my mentor who I follow him on LinkedIn and I used to watch his lot of content. And I'm still not able to believe today I'm doing a podcast and his name is Mr. Bithal Bhardwaj and he's basically a CEO of Gramex and formerly the group CISO for GMR. He also had a lot of experience in GE where he was a group CISO leader and along with that he led the strategies around the IoT, OT and the clouds and all that. And today, this podcast is very special because in this podcast, we're going to discuss about the cybersecurity or how to build a cyber resilient system for the Aero and Maritime security and how we can basically able to protect the critical infrastructure. Trust me, this is the first kind of a video on YouTube which talk about the internal structure of the critical infrastructure of the Aero security in Maritime. Sir, thank you so much, sir. I'm really excited for this podcast and thanks for coming for this particular show, sir.
Prabh, pleasure is all mine. Admiration is mutual here. I love the content which you create and you're doing a great service to the society.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And you may ask any question today.
Sir, today I will be your student and you are my mentor. So these questions are basically asked frequently in Reddit forums and all that. And I believe these are need to be discussed in this particular podcast. So, sir, before I started with this thing and all that, can you just tell me about your journey? How do you started your cybersecurity and all that before we jump into the Art Today series?
Yep. Like a lot of people from my generation, I began my journey as an IT person. Right? I've spent close to around 7-8 years as an infrastructure person. My primary focus was performance engineering, which fundamentally means you make sure that the availability and the performance of your infrastructure and applications is up to the SLAs. Did that for General Electric for many years. And it was a highly operational job. I told my boss, done with this missing out movies and not being home on time. I want something strategic. And he said, well, I've got an application security role.
Wow.
And I said, I would love to learn. I don't know coding, but I would love to learn how to take care of that. And he gave me the first role in cybersecurity, I think 16 or 18 years back.
So I want to interrupt. You don't have a coding experience that time.
I don't have a coding experience.
You were not doing a scripting and all that.
No.
So what was your academia background then?
So I've done my bachelor's of engineering in electronics. Okay.
Wow.
Now, my first cybersecurity role was to lead a group of application security leaders. You know, and these were the guys who were responsible to make sure that there were around 15,000 developers working under them, and their job was that they are developing the secure code for company where I was representing as a leader for that particular group. So I began my journey really not knowing anything about coding or cybersecurity, but I started learning as I started asking very fundamental questions. And I learned that, all of these guys in security space, they're focused on technology part, but not asking the very fundamental questions. That's how I started learning about security. And then one thing led to another. Began with application security leader. I moved on to the compliance leader, then the governance leader, and then CISO for one region, two regions. That's how I think it has moved on from there.
Wow. Hold on, guys. We have a podcast on critical infrastructure, but there is one question I want to ask him because it really gave me one kind of a heads up. Sir, please don't take me another way. You said you're handling a team of application security leader, and you came from background of the person who doesn't know coding. So, sir, do you face any challenge, and how do you overcome those challenges?
So I started asking very simple questions. I asked my boss, what is your key outcome you're expecting from me out of this role?
Okay.
He said, whatever code is getting developed for the company, we are paying these companies to develop code for us. Then we pay them again to test it, and then we pay them again to fix it. So you bring the number of vulnerabilities down in terms of the deliverables they are doing. So there was a certain metric. And then I started asking, when do you do the testing first time when you're developing an application or you're maintaining an application? Then very soon I realized that I had to give the right tools to the developers so that they can start testing when they're developing it.
Okay.
Right? So we infused the right security technologies in the hands of the developers, the QA guys, and then obviously we always had the black box and the white box guys towards the end of the SDLC, right? So we started asking those very fundamental questions. We learned that those were not being addressed. By the time we were done in a year and a half, the number of vulnerabilities in the code that was being delivered came down significantly.
Wow.
Significantly. I asked things like, how are you training them on secure coding practices? I started asking them about, how do I have a traceability into whatever vulnerability you have found? Am I seeing it again and again or not?
Okay.
Right? So again, very fundamental questions. And that's how I learned and they learned. They were professionals, but they learned and I learned too.
So that shows, that it's all about the limitation what you make in your papers, not on the brain. Like, if you're very clear about what is your goal, you can achieve it.
Indeed. I keep saying it. Security comes naturally to us as human beings.
That's what causes a process.
Yeah, don't get lost in the digital world. You just apply your common sense to that space as well. It's the same thing.
Wow. I'm really sorry, guys. We supposed to start with the critical infrastructure topic, but the way Bithal sir had told me about, came from a non-coding background, handling the team, I could not able to control myself, and I thought this is a very important lesson for you guys. I have seen a lot of DMs around, Prabh, I don't have a coding experience. Can I do cybersecurity? Live example. He's right now running a division which is basically into the critical infrastructure. He started his journey from application security, and that's a big thing. Sir, thank you so much. And I think the podcast has started with a very good motivation.
Lovely.
Sir, let's. I want to jump into the core topic which we need to understand. If you talk about this Aero security, today if you talk about the critical infrastructure, if you take an example of cyber warfare, recently we don't want to take a name, but just an example is we had a recent very big issues happen and there's a lot of other countries also face the same thing and all that. So when it comes to the national security, the most important part in national security is aero security. When it's got flights, maritimes, ships and all that. So as a CISO, how we can able to build a good cyber resilience system around this area? And the way we talk about, we have IT systems like DHCPs, they're assigning an IP address, DNS is doing a name resolution. We have Windows systems, we have a Linux systems. How the system works, and please explain in a way, because we have a lot of non-technical people or there are a lot of people who are not aware about this area. So if you can quickly walk through the process of how it works, it would be great help for us.
You spoke about resilience, right?
Yeah.
So let's start with defining what is good resilience all about. for any given organization or a system. So good resilience is all about making sure you're able to catch the trouble early on time. You're able to contain that locally. You're able to continue your critical applications or systems using your pre-tested conditions or fallback systems, and then you're able to recover without any surprises.
Without downtime.
That's your cyber resilience. Now you spoke about particular sector, but in India there is an agency by the name National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center. They've classified 7 different sectors as critical information infrastructure sectors. Aerospace falls under transport sector. Okay. So likewise, you have one is transportation, you have BFSI, you have healthcare, you have power, and so on and so forth. There are 7-8 sectors which are defined as national critical.
So when I say critical, what do you mean by critical?
Something which will have, which can impact the national security, public safety, public order. So there are few parameters. It varies from a country to country, but in India, it's mainly about the security, public safety, and those parameters. That's what it fundamentally. So essentially, the organizations which are the backbone of a modern society is what is critical infrastructure. Can you live without power? Answer is no. Can you live without good medical system or healthcare system? Answer is no. Can you do without your railways, ports, aviation? Answer is no, right? Shipping is very important. If you put out the global trade numbers, the numbers would be around 33 trillion worth of US dollars worth of trade happens every year. 90% of that happens using maritime. Okay, so there are vessels which are moving the goods all over the world. Okay, there are roughly around 100,000 ships or vessels making the journeys, making sure that we are living a modern life. That's a definition of what the critical infrastructure is, what cyber resilience is all about. Now, let's go back and understand. So each of these sectors, fundamentally, they are very, very similar. There is an enterprise side of things, which typically takes care of what? It takes care of your common systems, common governance across the entire, I would say, scope of operations of that organization.
An example?
Right. Example would be an enterprise would have your email systems. You may be operating 10 different assets as a company, okay? But you will need a common set of email system. You will need a common set of, for example, security systems. You would need a common set of ERP systems, HRMS systems, right? All of that fundamentally, which is required to orchestrate the entire group of companies, is we classify it as an enterprise system, right? So any of these companies would have enterprise systems. Then depending on what sector this organization is all about, there would be set of operational requirements or a body who make sure that business is running, the business operations are running. There would be underlying technology as well. If it's like an airport or a power plant, there will be a very strong flavor of operational technology there, right? Which will be typically run and owned by the engineering teams.
Okay.
Then there is a whole IT infrastructure which is owned by the IT guys, okay, or IT teams rather. You have different set of functions as well. You have HR, supply chain, and finance. All of that is all essential to run. You may organize it at an organization level or enterprise level, or maybe at an asset level, depending on where you're operating it. Each of these departments will have a head responsible for that area. Now, since we're talking about cybersecurity, now cybersecurity as a function or an organization would cut across all of this, horizontally and vertically. Okay, any system, whether it's IT system or an OT system, any process which has direct or indirect impact on the data or the intellectual property or the availability or the confidentiality or the safety, but has a digital connectivity aspect to it, will fall under the scope of cybersecurity teams.
True.
Right? And which is typically governed by or run by a CISO.
So, sir, as you said about the components, you said about the responsibility part who report to CISO. Sir, but as I said, we say we have a switch in the computer network. We have a twisted pair cables. We have fiber optic cables. We talk about DHCP, DNS protocols. We talk about the IP addresses. Okay, we're talking about the components here. We have a server components and all that. But how these components we called in Aero security? Now we have airport systems. Okay, so we have a terminals. Okay, we were talking vessels and all that. What are the sensors they use to control this monitoring and all that? If you can quickly drive through if you have any reference framework, we can see how it entire works.
If we can walk, I'd love to show you. That's what we have built. We build a.
I'm excited.
We build a miniature city actually, and if you want to walk,
yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
So I think this will be a first kind of video. We talk about the simulation of how the entire aero security works. Let's go ahead.
Let's go. Come on.
So please explain this. What is this all about? And you said about the systems. What are the systems?
To give you an idea, so beyond a big shopping mall and a huge road,
Okay.
there's a lot of technologies which make airport an airport. Now, if you come with me this side, now, in our language, we call it air side. Now, it looks like a huge road or runway, as what we call it. Now, let's look at the technologies which are laid out there. You have a runway lighting system. Okay. You have the perimeter intrusion detection system.
Wow.
You have the CCTVs. You have the baggage handling system. You have the ground radar system. You have the visual document guidance system for aircraft to park themselves. You have the ATC tower. You have a fueling station there. There are at least 8-10 different technology, which is all full of operational technologies and IoTs, sensors, and IT as well.
Okay.
Right where what we call as air side. Now, if you move this side, this is the terminal side of it. Now, just start imagining when you go to the airport, you have a flight to take today, right? So, you will start your journey with your boarding pass, right? So, you will have, a system will give you a boarding pass. You have a Digi-Yatra, then you walk in. As you walk in, there are scanners to scan you, and your bags as well. As you walk in, you will notice a lot of CCTVs around the airport. You will see travelators and escalators. Now, you may think, well, I see it every day in every building. What's the big deal about that?
Exactly.
Now, imagine in this environment, safety is number one. Now, if somebody is traveling on a travelator or escalator in any building for that matter, if it is vulnerable, somebody can take remote control of that.
Yeah, possible.
Yeah,
Increase the
can
speed.
increase the speed and reverse the direction of it.
And stop it also for that.
And stop it as well, right? You have flight information display systems, you have access control gates, you have your advertisement screens. So the whole space is full of technologies.
Okay.
Now, how these technologies interact with each other, right? What are the security elements which you have to be mindful of?
To remotely control
That's
these
what
barriers and everything.
you practice here.
Yeah.
So we run the blue teaming and the red teaming exercises right on this model.
For OT plants.
Oh, absolutely. If you look at the screens, the way it works is now the certain ports on the PLCs might be vulnerable.
Yeah. What is PLC?
It's programmable logic controller,
Okay.
right? And that is essentially would help you control the logics which
Operations.
for the operation technology, right? Now, what happens is some of the ports there might be vulnerable. Okay. Now, that if you have misconfigured and you have given a remote access or remote admin control to somebody else,
Okay.
that can be manipulated to actually make these alarms go off or on and off.
Okay.
Right? Just imagine the chaos. For example, a lot of these airports, the runway, what do you call it, baggage handling system, they run for kilometers in the basement.
True.
Right?
True.
These environments are built for resilience. So there are multiple levels of fallback mechanisms. You can run everything basically manually.
Yeah.
But baggage handling, can you imagine a passenger leaving the airport without the bag?
No.
Yeah. And if you need a 13 or 14 or 15 kilometer of a conveyor belt to carry the bags, imagine the volume which you will have to deal with to be done manually, right? So this whole information is contextualized into how this business really works.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you ask my SOC team, and we call it as Integrated Cyber Defense Center, now they are keenly aware of what technology systems are there at a given airport. Same way for the power plant, same way for a vessel in the maritime sector. So when they are integrating the systems, they will ask the questions. Well, what about that system? Now, imagine you are a security consulting company who has no access or no experience of managing these assets. You won't know what to ask. You will be fundamentally dependent on, well, give me the list of your assets to integrate with my SOC. So it's the other way around here.
Okay.
Here we would ask, well, what about that system? Okay, what version are you running it on? What technology are you running it on? Right? So that's why it's very important to understand or put the business context into how you run the security operations. If you move with me towards the left, you see a metro system here, and the metro train runs. So the use case which we are depicting here is we have the signaling system, which is potentially vulnerable in a lot of countries. Okay, how that can be hijacked and use that to take control of autonomous metros,
true.
right? And possibly derail that.
Yeah.
Once you have taken a control of a metro, then you can increase the speed and then change the track at high speed, causing it to derail.
Exactly. And nowadays we have this OTS attacks and all that, where as they're running as a train, driverless cars and all that, we can block
That's
that.
exactly what we're talking about, right? Now the idea is to understand how these systems work. Only when we know how it works is when we will be able to secure it well enough.
True.
Right?
That's a basic
so,
principle.
yeah. So, as you move forward here, so there is oil and gas setup which has been miniaturized. Here, the idea is in a refinery, you will have carbon monoxide building up, and at some point, you have to release that, otherwise, it will cause a blast.
True.
You can suppress the signals coming in from the sensors. Yeah, and imagine the consequences of that.
True.
If you keep moving with me, this is your smart meters for water and your electricity.
Okay.
Right? You can create revenue leakages by hacking into this IoT device.
True.
Yeah. This is a power generation and power distribution. How a turbine, hydro turbine, can be again through the SCADA system, can actually be manipulated to reduce the RPM speed. Okay. And then bring it to a point where it causes the blackout.
Okay.
Yeah, in the whole city. And if you want, I can show one of the cases to you as well.
Definitely.
That's there. That's a water sewage treatment plant.
Yeah.
And these are the cases you have read. When you Google up about the industrial or OT security attacks,
Yeah.
you have seen those. This is exactly what we're trying to show here. Without naming the country or the incident, but the clean and the dirty supply of water to the city was mixed up, right? So we demonstrate that here.
So this now is entire thing operate and controlled by the OT.
OT is the underlying
Okay.
technology for a lot of this stuff.
Okay.
One of the critical use case we try to show is, and you would have heard about network segmentation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
Air gap and all that.
yep. So, how a simple USB drive getting plugged into one of the system can actually bring the entire town down. We demonstrate that here as a case. So he's got a rubber ducky here. This is available on Amazon for 300 rupees.
Okay.
Right?
This is only for education purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And the team has built the malware for the testing purposes. And all he has to do is he has to have a physical access to the device where the USB is enabled. And that's what he's going to do. Just plug that in. Yeah, so what Saurabh has done, he has plugged in that small USB drive onto the system. And now the software on that, a malicious software on that, is doing a recon of this environment.
Oh.
It's on the flat network right now.
What is recon?
Recon is reconnaissance. We'll wait for it to stop. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I'm sorry, I'm going very basics here.
no, absolutely. And you should cover the cyber kill chain.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The cyber kill chain starts with your reconnaissance.
Yeah.
Okay, which fundamentally means the attacker is going to do the reconnaissance. In Hindi, we call it recce.
Recce,
right?
yeah.
And they understand information gathering. They try to understand what kind of technology is there, which one of it is vulnerable, so that they can actually weaponize. Right?
Okay.
Okay. So the software has done the recon. It understood that this particular specific port, which was, did you see this blackout?
Yeah.
We didn't do anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, this is only for education purpose. Okay. This is only for education purpose. Mr. Bithal is basically the CISO, and so he's not a hacker, but he's showing us 5% of skill of that. But this is only for education purpose. Yeah.
Yep. So what that software actually did, it did the recon. It figured out what port is vulnerable.
Okay.
Okay. And then it deployed the right code for that, so that it can manipulate that, and that's how it was able to stop the sewage treatment plant, propagate itself to the other sector, which is your oil and gas. It was able to disable the suppression button for the carbon monoxide buildup. here, and which caused the alarm and the
Yeah,
whole
true.
sound you heard.
Yeah.
And then it came towards the power generation. It reduced the speed of the turbine to a point, I think it brought down to 800 RPM. And that fundamentally caused the disruption. The power went off in the whole city.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Now, now understand one thing. A lot of these assets, your power generation, refineries, all of that is always in the remote parts of India or whatever, whichever country it is. It's never in the mainstream,
True.
right? So usually the eyes and ears for the about the operational parameters is through a remote command and control.
Yeah.
Everything looks absolutely normal in the command and control. So it will take days for people to figure out what exactly happened.
Sir, what is the role of the, like, how we see the role of the, like, this hospital is a necessary requirement of airports and all that. So is it also integrated with the aero systems, or they running a separate OD system for that?
Not technically,
Okay.
but you will always find all of these facilities around an airport.
Okay.
An airport anywhere is essentially a mini city in itself.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why you would see a fire station, hospital, police station, a lot of retail.
Okay.
Yeah. And you map it out to whichever city you come from.
Okay.
Prabh,
Yeah.
you will find all of this in the vicinity.
Wow.
Yeah. Let me draw your attention to at Gramax team is extremely innovative, and this is the latest toy they're playing with. This is basically a robot. A team calls it Dog E.
Dog E. Okay.
Okay. Now, in the crowded places where you can use the facial recognition to flag out any suspicious people, you can use this. So the use case they're working upon is, and it's being used today. In one of the IPL matches, this was used.
Yeah, I've seen that. So
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
So something similar. So the idea is how can this can be hacked into so that it's able to, if you're in the criminal database, how can we make it not recognize you? Yeah. So how can we play
information
around with the whole use case of that device? So team is currently working on this. So like that, there are around 52 such use cases which have been miniaturized
Okay.
to the very last degree of detail of IT, OT, and your IoT as well, and build with the same business logics.
Okay.
So that teams can understand. They can hone their skills using red teaming and blue teaming exercise right here. We also use it to communicate with our stakeholders,
Okay.
internally and externally as well.
Okay.
It's that much easier to talk, to show and tell. This is what we mean instead of just the presentations. And you will continue to see, these guys keep playing around with this stuff. I don't know what they're doing with this. So you will find stuff like this. The team is always working on something very, very new.
So, sir, normally when you're talking about this red teaming, what we do, like, are we doing on a kind of a simulated environment, or because see, airport is something, Aero is running on the uptime of 99.99%, and when you're doing a VAPTs and red teaming and all that, there is a probability it get interrupted. So, as a CISO, when we have to test our infrastructure. So, how the CISO take this approach, and how they ensure the testing will be done with limited downtime? Because definitely in red team, the approach of testing is very dynamic.
Yep.
We are not talking about scope and all that. So, how as a CISO you ensure that when we're doing these testings and all that, it will be done without any impact?
See, so remember, there is a lot of IT, this OT as well, right? But IT has a very short life cycle in terms of the technology itself.
Yep.
Yeah, it will come for an upgrade every few months.
Yeah.
Right. New versions will come up every year.
Yeah.
Right. Some customization will continue to happen on a regular basis.
Okay.
Yeah. That's part of the change management of the organization.
Okay.
It's much, 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 much easier when it comes to the applications or the IT space.
Okay.
Yeah, because the life cycle of a particular equipment is not more than 3 or 4 years. It's not a challenge there. The way rest of the industries do, that's how we do it as well in IT. Yeah, for any of the critical infrastructure asset. The difference is in the operational technology. Yeah, because some of these are not, you cannot replace them in 3 or 5 years like IT.
True.
These are long cycles. They are there for long haul.
Yeah.
They're built for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the matter of fact is, the availability and the continuity of the operations is so critical that there are far too few windows for you to be able to test out stuff.
True.
Right?
True.
However, there are always a maintenance downtimes in these systems as well. That's why I keep saying it's important to work very closely with the business, because next time the maintenance cycle is coming up, you please go in and do your checks and balances. Otherwise, if you lose that window, then you have to wait, and they will never, and the business team will never, bring that plant down if it is not for their actual maintenance of the system.
And that's why we say the firmwares, the architecture is completely
You
different.
have to
from
wait.
IT.
You have to wait for that window.
Yeah.
That's when you can upgrade the firmware and everything else. But it will not happen at your own whims and fancies in IT world, where you ask your SCCM to go and patch all the systems
That's
in
not
the
possible.
organization. No,
Yeah.
it doesn't happen that way.
Okay. So there is one important question I want to ask. As you shown me the 3 tiers architecture here, 1, 2, and 3,
Yeah.
where the IT systems come. Okay, we have a system which is controlled automatically by the IT systems and SOC. So if you take example of airport, in the airport where the IT system used to sit, people are sitting.
So, okay, so I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Let me simplify it for you. The underlying backbone for all of this is what I'm asking you: network,
Network, yeah, connectivity,
connectivity,
continuity.
Is that IT or OT?
Both.
That's IT.
Yeah, IT, yeah, sorry.
That's IT.
Yeah.
Right?
This is IT. Yeah.
That's what you do in any organization.
Yep.
Right? Most of the tech are applications, either hosted on-prem or on cloud or SaaS or whatever.
Yeah, microservices
Yeah.
and all.
What do you classify it as? IT.
IT, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, what is operational technology? Operational technology, the way to simplify this, is whenever any technology which has some physical consequence
True.
is your operational technology. Yeah, you press a button, magically elevator goes up,
Exactly.
comes down. You need certain technology which is deployed on the ground right there. That piece is what you will find in all of these.
Yeah, so it's
Not just in critical infrastructure, but the building where you live in, your building management system is a good example of operational technology as well.
Yeah, BMS, yeah.
So it's all over the place. It's just that it's never been focused upon, because it was always perceived that it is air gap and nobody is going after it. But you know what? In last 5-6 years with Industrial 4.0, people want to get more juice out of the investments which have been made.
Yes.
Which means there's enough push to connect these so-called in-silo, air-gapped environments, to the outside worlds.
Yeah.
And with that comes the risk. And hence that's where it comes in the need to secure operational technology.
And do you think the zero trust architecture also come into this?
Zero trust architecture is the very fundamental fabric of how security is all about. What does it say?
No
It
trust
says-
but verify.
Yeah,
No trust but
exactly.
verify.
It's been packaged as zero trust today, but
Yeah.
has that not been a very, very fundamental principle for what we do as security?
Yeah. Because I have seen your profile and I've seen your past history about you working in a other previous firm, and pretty much you're already working on the zero trust. That time there was no term zero trust, but you're already working on the micro segmentation and all that.
Exactly. So, and those are marketing jargons, so let's not get lost for that.
Yeah.
Now, the one very important aspect which I like to bring up about the operational technology, because we spoke about that. A lot of people, a lot of companies sell operational technology security as one piece of tech which you buy and then you're able to secure.
Yeah.
Answer is no.
No. The protocols are different, their services are different.
It does not matter.
Yeah.
Most part of the cybersecurity of that environment is essentially in the operational discipline of it.
What is the meaning that operational discipline? What?
Operational discipline fundamentally means
Okay.
that you are sticking to the checklist. You're doing the hygiene checks periodically.
Okay.
You're not deviating. You're not taking too many exceptions. That is operational hygiene.
Okay.
End of the day.
Okay.
What happens is people buy, I won't name the vendors, but they buy XYZ technology and say they think they are now secure. No, answer is not right. Yeah. Lot of this is still, the magic is in how strongly you drive your operations hygiene.
That's why we say it's not about, the hacking is not about because of the failure of technology, but failure of processes.
Yep. And I also say, bad IT is cybersecurity.
So thanks for sharing a live simulation how this entire Aero security works and all that. And thanks for having patience and taking these questions in a very positive manner. And because not everyone take this way in the question has been asked, but thank you so much, sir.
No, I'm impressed with your hunger for knowing more and more. I hope I was able to quench that thirst for you.
Definitely, sir. So as you talk about, Prabh, the update which has happened for the OT systems is not the same way that we do for IT systems. So And I have did a lot of case study in the past. I don't want to take the name, but recently it happens where the IT systems and OT system went down, and because of that, the flight got interrupted and all that. And later on, we got to know they were running old systems. Okay, so as a CISO, how do you see this as a threat? How do you you see as a this vulnerability part of running old systems, and how do you ensure the business with this old systems and ensure the security?
If you're talking about outdated operating system
Yeah.
in the IT
Yeah.
realms of things, this is absolutely carelessness of the organization.
Okay.
Okay, there is absolutely no reason why an organization cannot upgrade an IT system, right? You have a luxury of taking the downtimes,
True.
plan it out well as and when needed. It's just that and again I'll say it's a carelessness of the organizations who run the IT systems on an obsolete infrastructure. There's no reason for that. However, same is not applicable for the operational technology world.
Yep.
Yep. As I said earlier, the systems there are built for long haul, 10, 20, 30 years. And you really don't have a luxury of upgrading, patching, doing all of that very often. So you have to wait for the maintenance cycles. However, that does not bring the risk down of running an obsolete operating system in the operational technology world. There are ways to put in the composite pre-controls there.
Okay.
Yeah, you can put that system behind the firewall. You can re-architect in a way that it doesn't pose a threat or risk to rest of the environment. You can use a lot of whitelisting software are there, yeah, which will make sure that that particular obsolete OS is running the processes which are only required for the system it is running, right? So you can harden that to a point that the risk is minimized. It will not go away, but you'll have to wait for the next opportunity to be able to upgrade that system to the latest one.
Okay.
And that is always way too far and few in the scheme of things of the life cycle of these systems in operation technology.
So, sir, like as you said about the updates to be taken care and all that, but in terms of using the OT products and all that, we have a maintenance window. We have to depend upon the vendors and all
Right.
that. So, what is the role of a vendor management here? Because when we buy up solutions, when we buy a product from the
Right.
vendors and all that, we have a total dependency on that case.
Prabh,
So-
thank you for asking that question. A supply chain on the vendor management is absolutely critical when it comes to operational technology world. You will not find too many organizations who have enough technical skills in-house to be able to manage that particular operational technology. Say a power plant may have a systems coming in from Siemens, General Electric, Schneider, ABCD. You not have enough engineers. You will have controls and instrumentation engineers there, but not the specific skill set required to manage that particular OEM's product, right? So there's a huge dependency on the vendors to be able to maintain those systems. Okay, and that is part of the problem as well. For example, mostly you will find the remote management of these systems being done from Europe or other places. So which fundamentally means that you will have remote connectivity on demand to be there, right? Gone are the days where you will have these vendors or their engineers coming in on site to do those maintenance cycles. But today, with the comfort of remote management, it's done over the air. So that poses its own challenges for any organization. If it is not controlled, not governed right, you may end up having the practices which are very high risk for the security posture. You will have always on internet connectivity to your operational technology world because the vendor needs to have that. There may be issues about the remote admin rights itself, right? More than that, when you procure an operational technology system or an IoT system or a sensor, it has to start from putting the right specifications.
True.
Right? So which means the cybersecurity teams have to be engaged from the time you're conceptualizing a new system or an upgrade or whenever the next opportunity is, so that the right set of security requirements can be baked into the specifications of the technology which you have to procure.
Okay.
That's more of an internal problem. You have to work very closely with the vendor management team to make sure that the right specs have been baked into it, right? This part one of the supply chain thing. So the point two is about what I was saying earlier, the operational discipline, right?
Yeah.
You say you had a maintenance window, which is coming up next month for say 5 hours or 4 hours, right? And your IT teams should be turning on the internet connection at that point in time for a particular IP, for a particular ID, right? That is what I meant by the operational discipline which is required.
Okay.
Usually what happens is, oh, it's happening at this point in time, the guys will turn on the internet and we forget to take it off. And that becomes a key risk for that environment.
So we need to shadow ITs also.
Not shadow IT. Shadow IT is the IT teams are not aware, or the cybersecurity teams are not aware that there is something, a parallel universe going on in the same organization. But the maturity of a cybersecurity organization is to about discovery of these, the shadow IT itself.
Okay.
With it, whether, and you know what, in the world today's age with SaaS, every business team is enabled, empowered with variety of these solutions available which they can procure directly.
Yes, true.
Right? Which also means that you need to have the right controls in your change management in the organization that it will come to you automatically.
True.
Yeah. So you may go as, say, maybe your HR function and you're able to bring in your own some HR tool which is SaaS based, nothing stops you. But hey, you know what? You'll have to whitelist that URL in your environment.
Exactly.
So which means whenever the request comes in to whitelist that URL, you need to be able to validate, is this approved or not, to capture or find that shadow IT. Okay. So that's more from a cybersecurity standpoint. You have to have a continuous discovery of such environments.
That's really great, because the point you said about having a change management process integrate with the organization process, which include the event management or something like that.
Right.
By end of the day, the most important part is IT, which basically people are moving to the other technologies, but they're not talking about the primary discipline, which is about the handling the day-to-day operations. Yes. If they streamline that, they can able to streamline the OT.
Yes, and in fact, what has happened, the age we are living in, so innovation or the business need is where the business is. At one point in time, you had the IT teams at the core or center of the innovation, because it was the era of digitization.
Sure.
Long gone that era, right? Now today, everybody is enabled, empowered to be able to pick up a right problem statement for the business, either to drive better efficiency or looking for a new business model. There are plenty of tools available to them as a service, right?
Okay.
So the innovation has shifted from the IT teams to the business teams today.
And that's why as a CISO, modern CISOs
it's
need
very important that you integrate with the business teams so that you are an enabler and not just the guy who's raising the red flags every single time.
And that's why we say, as a CISO, you need to be a good translator to explain business why security is important, and to the IT why business is important.
Absolutely, it's very important.
That's the most important part. Yes. And sir, are we following the same for the maritime securities when it comes to the CISO approach, the way we see the Aero securities and all that? What about the maritime? Because there's no discussion around that area. How do you see the security?
It's such an important aspect of a modern life, Prabh. And the regulations in that space, that sector, are evolving.
Can you share?
Rapidly evolving, yeah. For example, IMO came up with, International Maritime Organization came up with its own set of regulations back in 2021.
Okay.
Yeah. Fairly recently, the new guidelines have come out for the build specifications from a safety and cybersecurity standpoint for the new vessels building. Okay. So regulations are rapidly coming out. However, the way I see the maritime sector is very different. Every vessel is a floating city in itself.
Yeah, true.
I showed you there was a power generation, power distribution, sewage treatment plant. There was some kind of a fueling system, some kind of a baggage handling system. You have all of that happening in just one vessel. There is IT, there is OT, there is IoT, there is plenty of everything, right? And imagine that city is floating in the dark.
That's true, yeah.
Just depending on...
you have a base something, and in that case, everything is dynamic.
Absolutely, right? Now, what we have seen, the cybersecurity is approached very differently, has been approached very differently, and we're trying to disrupt that there. Mainly because it's approached from the enterprise standpoint. So if you're a large shipping company, like any enterprise, you have a cybersecurity framework, certain compliance requirements, you've invested in the right technologies. So the approach is top down. Yeah, because enterprise is organizing or managing cybersecurity. They're structured towards that. So they will cover every asset, every computer. That will include the computers on the ships as well, or vessels as well. But I think it's time that we look at differently. We have to take a bottoms-up approach, which fundamentally means we have to start looking at each of the vessels as a enterprise itself.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barring certain common systems like your mailing systems or the resource planning systems, which are typically hosted outside. But whatever systems we have on a vessel, it has to be protected end to end.
Okay.
What we have seen, a lot of companies will just buy antivirus and put that on the certain systems on the vessel and think that that will do the job. But no, just like how you build a house, right? And you have a door, you have a window, and you have multiple entry points there, right? You will think about a security control for each of those. Unless you have put a door on each of those areas or windows on each of the areas where it's a vulnerable point, exactly the same way on a vessel, it has to be approached from the standpoint of every technology which is available, from a people standpoint, from the process standpoint, from a visibility standpoint, from a dashboarding standpoint. It has to be done in such a way that the way you would approach for typically an enterprise. Okay. That's how each vessel has to be approached as well, so that there is a complete end-to-end visibility into the posture of a ship, and not just an endpoint giving you visibility into, well, this is my posture, but there are multiple other systems which have to be covered.
That's why we say in maritime and maritime securities and all, and airport security, that's why we say the most important part is asset discovery.
Yes.
Because until unless you don't have the visibility, you cannot control.
Indeed. Asset discovery is the most important part for any security of any organization, right?
That's really point you said. So I'm very interesting about in that area. Like, I joined one organization who take care of the maritime security.
Right. Which one?
Okay. I'm just taking example. I want to join, or suppose I join one maritime security and I ping Bithal sir, I'm in trouble. I have no idea how to build a cybersecurity strategy for the, about maritime and all that. So what do you think? What should be the step-by-step process if you want to build a cybersecurity strategy for the maritime security and all that?
Prabh, great question. I think the question you asked was how do you go about, how do you start securing maritime industry, right? So look at maritime industry from the standpoint of the vessels which are on the waters. You have the ports which are no different than your airport. It's very similar. And then you have the enterprise or the company who's actually managing these different assets. Maybe you are a shipping management company or a ship owning company. You're an enterprise there, right? So you have to think of these three layers in the maritime sector to go about securing it. Enterprises is no mystery. It's just like any organization, you will go about that. Ports, we've spoken about airports. It's not very different from that standpoint. The operational fundamentals are very, very similar, right? Sure. Vessels are the new variable in what we've been talking today, right? Now let's understand how do you start for a vessel. Like anything you have to secure, you have to start with understanding what runs a vessel. What are the business processes? Yes. Who are the people who are on the vessel to make it run, sail, right? What systems enable the operations of that particular vessel, right? What are the classifications of those systems, right? And then when you start with that, and then what are the compliances which are applicable for that particular vessel or a port, whatever it is. So keeping all of that in mind, you have to put, that's how we typically start. We start by putting a framework for that particular environment which has to be secure. Well, you're familiar with a lot of different frameworks. You have ISO 27000 framework, you have NIST framework, but these are, they are good to give you a direction where you have to go. But when it comes to securing a particular asset, it's important that you speak the language where every stakeholder understands that. So I'm going to deviate there for a moment, and I'll take you back to the airport for a moment, right? So when we begin a journey around 4 years back for the airport sector, we begin a journey by defining the airport cybersecurity framework. We call it ACSF. Yeah. Now, ECSF is it's just not identify, govern, protect, detect, respond, recover. No. We broke it down to the level of what systems make this industry.
Oh.
Yeah. And what controls and what are those systems called? And you may have 10 different type of OEMs for each of the system, correct? And then what security controls are applicable from a technology, people, and process standpoint for each of the system. When you do that, you fundamentally define the dictionary, which a common dictionary for everybody who's involved in the effort of securing that particular thing. Same thing is for the maritime, right? So when we begin a journey, so today we have taken our learnings, our understanding of aviation cybersecurity after disrupting that market, after maturing that market, we're taking it now to the maritime. So I'm coming from that perspective. We have defined maritime cybersecurity framework, which means our team has studied the vessels. We understand what are different types of systems which makes it, which one of that is a sensor, which one of that is operation technology, which one of that is your IT system, what is standalone, which is on the network, what connects to what, inside, outside. So define that, and then basis which we have come up with, once we've identified the assets in the entire environment, the entire attack surface, is when we have defined what tools needs to be deployed. See, you can't really put the same technologies which you use it on the land on a ship, because you have a limited connectivity. You have multiple variables, right? We've been able to identify the right tech solutions which goes and secure or protect the technology landscape on a ship. It's important that there might be times when the vessel is at the shore and there's no connectivity, so the controls have to work in offline mode as well.
True.
Correct. Typically, let's take a large cargo vessel, right? A cargo vessel may have its journey for say 2 months or 3 months. Will have only 7 or 8 people, staff. Or I'm talking about typical 200-meter long ship.
Oh, only for that.
Yeah, just 7, 8 people. Yeah, sailing through the waters to make the world trade happen. Yeah, so things have to be simplified to the point. Now, every vessel, the captain of the vessel is designated as a chief information security officer for that vessel.
Okay.
Yeah. So when things goes wrong, you really don't have a lot of IT people who are there to manage the situation. It's only 7, 8 people with 16, 18 hands available. And this is not their primary task, correct? So the environment, the ecosystem is very different. So we have come up with our product called Sea Falcon.
Okay.
Yeah, which fundamentally democratizes how a cybersecurity should be approached for a vessel, which is, don't go with just one antivirus or just one firewall. There are a lot of technologies at the IT, OT level, and there are a lot of processes, a lot of people-centric things which needs to happen, which has to be remotely monitored from what we call as Maritime Integrated Cyber Defense Center, right? And then who run by people 24/7 who make sure that in case of an incident, they are able to talk with the captain or people available and take care of that incident in that language. Yeah, so it's a different world altogether. I hope that Sea Falcon will go about transforming how cybersecurity is approached in the maritime sector in few years to come by. So we've taken a responsibility of securing 100 ships. We just did that, and we hope the numbers will multiply and we bring in the good sense to the sector there.
Wow. And it's really interesting that you talk about, using solutions. And so when you're talking about the solution, the Falcon, right? The solution name is Sea Falcon.
Sea Falcon.
Sea Falcon. So it's more like it providing the one centralized point, a visibility of the vessel, and ensure that, okay, in one check or in one go, we can able to enforce security. The way we have a CASB for the cloud, where we manage a multi-cloud environment. Same like this, we have a SOAR for SOC.
Very similar. So centralized maritime integrated cyber defense center will get the signals from these vessels. There are multiple vessels, right? And the telemetry of the signals is essentially from IT, OT, and all of those things.
Okay.
Right, coming to us in a center real time, right? Which is then clubbed with the manual assessments on a monthly basis.
Okay.
which includes your patching and vulnerability assessments, all happening not in a point in time, once in a year, but on a very regular basis. There is whole crisis management, there's whole crew awareness and trainings. There is whole set of incident response uh, processes and the practices which comes to the play. So it's a very comprehensive, very contextualized to the vessel cybersecurity solution which we have come up with. There are very innovative products which we have been incubating, and we have which we are using to drive this sea falcon out in the industry today.
Wow. So it's a very interesting insight you talk about the technology that you guys are using. So is it okay? Can we have a next podcast on that topic, and we can see the live demonstration how you ensure the security of the maritime from that perspective?
I love to bring it to you, Prabh,
Thank
whenever
you.
you say.
Thank you. And guys, if you're really interested for that, do share your comments in this video, and we're looking forward for that video for next year, that for sure. So coming back to this, and really you give a great insight on about the frameworks that we use. Now there is a situational aspect I want to ask you. When you started a journey in cyber, you started from IT, the application security. Okay, even it's with me also, IT to cybersecurity. Now this OT security, Aero security, maritime security, definitely we need a security specialist for that. How to make a career in that case, and what kind of a, if there will be some students, mechanical engineers, who I'm sure they love cyber from that perspective. So what is a message for those people? How can they make a career in that, and what is the role of Bithal sir in that case?
No, so number one, we hire a lot of interns every summer. We hire a lot of freshers as well. Most of the talent, let me take a step back. We believe in the contextualized skills when it comes to cybersecurity. To a given environment you try to secure. You will find plenty of training courses if you want to learn how to do VAPT or how to be a SOC analyst.
True.
And that's where you will find it's a very crowded space, right? We believe in you have to be a specialized expert for a given domain.
Okay.
Okay, and that's when we give opportunity to a lot of these students, engineering students.
True.
So please apply.
Okay.
We are more than happy to engage you. We hardly say no. Yeah. If for the summer internships, all you have to do is we give you a challenge to solve. Please go and do it, and we'll give you plenty of exposure. A lot of if you come here during the summertime, your vacation time, you will find a lot of kids in this room here, just trying to learn, getting inspired. So, if you want to build your career in this specialized cybersecurity field, not just learn the technology piece of it, but also the business aspect of the sector you want to go and focus on. If it's aviation or maritime which pulls you, understand how it works. Okay, everything is available on YouTube. Every single thing. Yeah, so invest your time in learning all of that, right? And when you come to the table and make us a phone call, we'll be more than happy.
That's
Yeah,
great.
because I'm sure in the process we learn from you as well.
Definitely. And that's the reason I ask about, well, that, like, as you said, we're talking about IT topics and all that, but how the sequence of learning should be have for the, no, not possible, like, okay, everyone can able to join, because you also have some kind of seats, vacations and all that. But if someone want to, then might be there will be some CISO watching this podcast.
Yeah.
And they want to do some learning on that side. So what is your direction for them?
So number of seats is not a constraint for us.
Okay.
Yeah, if you make a phone call to our HR, and there is a unique value proposition in how you approach things, how you see things, how much you have invested in your own learning, we will engage you, give you a problem to solve or do a white paper on, because in the process, not only you will learn because you're doing research, but we'll also gain. We will not publish those white papers, but you know what? We have pushed you enough to think hard about something. And if you are able to satisfy our panel with respect to the work you have done, then you get the internship certificate for a summer internship.
Wow.
Yep, that's one. Now, see, most of our team members, cybersecurity is all about passion.
Yeah, true.
You ask half of my team, they will tell you they've been hacking since they've been grade 9, 10, 11. Yeah, it's not the college degree, it's not the courses which they have done, which has made them be where they are today. It's just a pure passion. Cybersecurity is all about pure passion. Passion about breaking things, passion about learning,
how things really work, right? It's just that which keeps you, makes you stand apart, right? So if you have it in you, I think just invest in yourself.
That's great. That's why we've seen a lot of nowadays people seeing that, okay, there's a two type of people in cyber we have seen. One is who come with the passion.
Yeah.
And one is who come with someone else follow direction. Okay, if Mr. Bithal is earning this much amount of money in cyber, I will also make it. And this is where the burnout comes.
Oh, exactly. See, in my environment, it's the meritocracy. It's your hunger to learn and give back is what makes you grow.
True.
Yeah. We do not encourage just simple checklists or kind of approach when it comes to how you do your work.
That's true. And that's why you have given a two message in this video for your information, sir. One, you inspired with that message of transition from the non-coding to today to handling the critical infrastructure. And second is you talk about certification degree doesn't matter. No, it matters. I do understand. But if you have passionate about something, your company is open to invite those applications. I'm sure it can be a game changer video for those aspirants who go with this assumption that, okay, degree matters or coding matters.
Degree is essential.
Yeah, no,
But what matters, differentiates is the portfolio which you build with a passion which you demonstrate.
True.
Right? That has to complicate. Everybody's got a degree today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
But what makes you stand apart?
Yeah, skill set matters, and you know how you perform the things. So there's a lot of listeners, there's a lot of viewers who watch our podcast, and I'm sure they're watching this podcast also. And some of the listeners or viewers are aspiring CISOs. They want to become a CISO. So how to become a CISO? Because you were a group CISO, you're a CISO leader, and then you did the transition from a group CISO leader to the CEO now. So if someone want to become a CISO, you know how to become a CISO.
I think let's understand the boundaries within which we play. As a CISO, you will never have enough budgets.
Okay.
You'll not have enough resources. No matter how big the organization is, it'll never be enough, right? So it's important that you are able to influence the ecosystem you're trying to secure.
True.
Yeah, so that you can build, you can replicate yourself in every function, every business, every aspect of stakeholders which you have to work with, right? So you have to have the right influencing skills so that people are able to think of security. You know, that's number one. Number two, it's very important to also be good in communications. You should be able to talk the language which non-techies understand.
And I admire your communication right now. The way you're speaking and
you.
making comfortable and all that. Really
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah.
So that they understand what you're talking about. They do simplify it. That's where most people falter, right? Speak in their language. Everybody understands security.
Yeah.
It's just that you scare them enough by bringing in enough technical or digital jargons in the conversation. Simplified for them. So that's the communication aspect of it. I think beyond that, you need to have external focus. What I mean by that is, when things goes wrong, you alone and your resources alone will not help you take care of the situation. You need people, you need intelligence, you need all type of minds to help you think, look at the problem from multiple aspects. And that will only happen when you've had the right external focus, which means you're very well connected with your OEMs. You're very well connected with your peers in the industry. You're very well connected with the right subject matter experts of whatever technology it is. You need to have that external focus as
People
well.
management is very, very important.
People management, obviously, it has to be there, right? If you focus on, and the fourth and the last, you should be curious about how the world and how things work. It's very important.
Okay.
So focus on your influencing skills for your ecosystem, communications, go about building the external focus, and fourth and the last, be curious, keep learning. And then just do that with honesty and passion, you will become.
And when we're having an interview with Bithal sir, he was telling me, Prabh, I listen a lot of podcasts and all that. So you can imagine, at this position also, he upgrading himself every day. So you really inspire me for that. Now I have to work more hard and
Thank
to
you,
be frank, because I was not expecting. So see, your background is now you are leading a leadership positions and all that. You know in and out about, you started a journey with it, but still you are listening to the podcast. It's really commendable, sir. not everyone have a time, but you're taking all the time for that learning.
And you listen, you hear so many perspectives.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have time to read books, honestly.
Yeah.
I love reading books, but I don't have time to read books. So, but I have 1 hour to come to office, 1 hour to go back home. Yeah, half an hour goes into taking the phone calls and making the phone calls. Rest half, I listen to the podcast.
Wow.
And you guys are doing a great service to the industry.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. This is the second last question.
Sure. Second last. That's very precise.
Yeah,
All right.
second last question. How do you handle crisis of any company in terms of cyber incident? Because the reason of asking these questions is a lot of burnouts happening. CISOs getting burned out.
See, burnout is happening because they are surprises.
Yeah.
Crisis cannot be a surprise for you. Yeah. Few things. You need to have. Okay. How best can you manage a crisis? You need to, first of all, you need to have a crisis management plan in place, which has to be well rehearsed, well thought through. You know. And when I say a crisis management plan, I fundamentally mean start with the communication playbook. Who will you call for what? Right? And you will have different scenarios listed down. How will you act upon that? And all of those things. That all is good. That's what you will hear from everybody. Okay. Yeah? Have a crisis management plan. You should have it. But more importantly, you have to rehearse that. The crisis management drills are so important. So important. You know why? When the crisis happens, you are not opening up your PDFs or Word documents to read through what you're supposed to do. Sure. It's what you have practiced, what you have rehearsed, what you have done in the drills, right? That comes naturally at that point in time. So what's important is to absolutely stay calm, right? And assign the roles as per your plan. Yeah. So you have to make somebody responsible, accountable, who will lead you through that crisis. Once you have qualified some incident, some event as a crisis, the first thing is who is going to lead us in the whole crisis, and let him or her do the job. Assign the roles like, okay, this person is responsible to communicate with the management. This person is responsible to communicate with the regulator.
Excellent.
Yeah. This person is connected to the right stakeholders from different functions who are required to manage a crisis. It can be a legal, it can be a communications team, it can be whatever function, right? So that, see, we're talking from a CISO viewpoint. So that one person from a cybersecurity organization who's going to lead you through the crisis can focus on the job. Because you will get so many phone calls in that time, and there will be 10,000 thoughts going in your head, 10,000 ideas coming your way. You want that tech team to be able to focus on doing their job. The communications and the role play.
Metrics.
It's extremely important. Yeah. And stay calm. That's very, very important as well. Yeah. It happens. In cybersecurity world, incidents happen.
True.
And we are best trained to take care of those. Right?
It comes with the learning, it comes with experience.
It comes with learning, it comes with the experience and all of those things. Yeah. But don't try to be the hero. There have been situations where, when I was CISO, not here, there has been a situation where I know I'm not best suited to deal with that kind of a situation, which means I have to assume some of the role for that crisis and put the best guy for my team to say, you will lead this whole scheme of things because you understand this better.
Excellent.
Yeah.
It's a very important quality as a leader.
Don't try to be a hero when it comes to the crisis management. Yeah, that's very important. For a lot of people, and you know what, the hard truth about crisis management is, there's always a system of people who gets breached, right? And while you might have saved the day, but it's not seen kindly because you put them in the spotlight.
Exactly. Empathies also matter, as you said, about how you basically supporting peers and all that, how you connecting the audience, how are you connecting the people, and that come with the empathy, it come with the people management and all that.
Indeed.
And sir, this is the last question.
Yes.
Is if today you are not a CISO, example.
Yes.
If you are not going to cybersecurity. Yes. How we can see Mr. Bithal, if not cybersecurity, like some other skill set and all that?
Well,
if not a CISO,
I've not planned my career journey so far. I have focused on the present, gave my present the best. I think none of us hold the power to see the future. Control tomorrow. I think so so far where I am, what I have done has not been part of the plan. Let's be very honest with you.
Oh wow.
Oh, it's not been part of the plan. No, just whatever comes your way, just be there at that moment. I'm sitting with you right now, right? I'm learning from how you are approaching questions and things, right? Just do the stuff on today. If you worry about ifs and buts, let that be the job of the risk management guys. What ifs?
Excellent.
In life, it's not about what ifs. It's about just do what you can do best
Present.
at that moment, which is yours.
Present never give you nervousness.
Absolutely.
But if you are not a CISO, then
Well, at some point in time, I wanted to be an artist.
wow.
But then I did some research, spoke with few people who have been in the domain, who are known artists or they run the galleries. I learned very hard truth that it's not the talent which sells if you're an artist, it's the story of an artist.
Exactly.
कितना फटीचर है वो बिकता है.
Exactly.
It's not the art work business. I said that's not for me.
But we will see in future.
Oh, that's on the card. So I would love to go into spirituality because that needs a lot of time, and I would like to pursue the art things when the time comes.
Okay.
Kab? I can't plan. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow. Maybe after. I don't know.
But sir, actually for me the 5 take points I'm going for this podcast is one is be humble. What I learned from you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Second is anything is possible. It's a game of mind, how you plan.
Indeed.
And that you have shown that. Explain a technical stuff in a non-technical manner with the physical thing. That's the first time I did in my YouTube, and I have not seen much about that. That's something I'm going with the learning, and for me, I got a lot of content I'm going to build. And fourth is be calm. Be calm. That's the most important thing, and most important thing, believe in present.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thanks for this wisdom and thoughts I have, for this particular podcast, sir. But sir, I want to disturb you again.
Do it anytime. I've got a lot of very capable leaders in our team.
Yeah.
Give them a chance as well.
Definitely.
They have likely better stories.
Yeah.
But it was a pleasure to host you, Prabh, today.
Yes, sir.
And I really appreciate what you're doing. And thanks for taking out time for us.
No, sir. Thanks to you for taking out the time for this, and I'm sure our listeners, our viewers who are going to watch this podcast, will have a great value from this.
I hope so. All right.
So this is all from our side, team. Do let us know how do you find this podcast, and if you're new to the channel, do subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to make sure you should not miss the future videos on the similar topic. Thank you so much. Good day. Bye.